Let's talk about the expectations that certain kinds of modern women have out of the relationships they have with their men, or at least the relationships that they see men having with other women or with other women having with men, and their attitudes towards it. So you've got this person here, Rosie. She seems to be kind of like the hardcore turf type, the sort of, the genuine man hating types. And she's posted this with the caption, seems healthy and not transactional at all. And that's a really interesting thing to say, because this is about a guy, as you can see, he says, I've been married for 7 years and I've got 2 kids. So he's been married for a while. I've been married for 10 years and I've got 4 kids. And it is an unfortunate fact of life that a lot of what you do is actually transactional, right? Now, it's not just that relationships themselves are reciprocal, right? All relationships are reciprocal. Otherwise, you don't really have a relationship. What you have is a kind of master-servant dichotomy, which, of course, I'm sure Rosie would say, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. But that's not at all what a normal person is looking for, and not something that should be pursued. You should treat the other person as equally important, right? You should view them as being as equally important to the relationship as you. And so your contributions and their contributions are a reciprocal relationship of give and take. And if one person stops giving, it's not unreasonable for the other person to think there's something wrong with the relationship. And then they stop giving too. And if that person says, well, hang on a second, why did you stop giving? Well, because the fault is with you, because of the reciprocal nature of relationships. So this complaint that, oh, this seems healthy, not transactional at all. Well, all relationships after a long period of time have a kind of transactional nature to them, right? You do something because that person has done something for you, and you want to make sure that they don't feel like you're taking advantage of them. So in a way, even the transaction of the relationship isn't really a transaction. It's really an expression of your love. It's you doing the thing that they want you to do, and that can literally be anything. For like my wife, it's like, if I happen to see the kitchen's messy, I know it drives her crazy, and so if I'm up and she's still in bed or something, I'll clean the kitchen because I'm nice that way. And she'll get up and she'll be like, oh right, that's really nice. And so the next time I want something, I get it, you know what I mean, from her. Like it's this kind of there is a certain kind of transactionality to it, but it's because I love her and I want her to get the things that she wants, that I'm prepared to do something that otherwise I wouldn't do out of my own desire, my own incentive. And she does the same the other way, and that's how a relationship stays healthy. And so Rosie here being like, well, I mean, this is transactional. What she's complaining about is the lack of like raw romance that in 7 years in isn't actually sustaining the relationship alone. And yep, that's some bad news. Raw romance alone does not sustain a long-term relationship. You have to have an agreement with one another. You have to have a sort of knowledge of the other person in how you make them happy and the things that you do to make them happy, and they will have the same for you. And that's how the relationship stays stable and steady, actually. And that's what this chap here is complaining about. And so Rosie's ridiculous expectations for a relationship that, again, they wouldn't have been married, they would have been dating before marriage, obviously. So like a 10-year-old relationship isn't exclusively predicated on the new flush of romance and enchantment. Yeah, no, it's not, right? No relationship is. And it's kind of stupid and ridiculous and almost kind of childlike to think that that will be the case. And actually, when you look at it through a more sort of realistic lens, we're like, okay, what is actually required to make a marriage work? Like, what is the actual give and take that each person can reasonably expect from the other in a marriage, which makes it work and keeps it going for a long time? You realize that Rosie just sounds like crazy, frankly. But anyway, so we've got this chap who says, my wife stopped having sex with me, so I stopped doing things for her, which is actually very reasonable. Me, 37 male, wife 32 female, have been married for 7 years and we have 2 kids. The first few years, sex was great. Not just the physical part, but the connection. Then about 3 years ago, it slowed down a lot. Now we're basically roommates who co-parent. I've tried initiating, I've tried talking about it, I've tried planning date nights, I've even helping more around the house. Every time I bring it up, she says she's too tired, not in the mood, or I make her feel pressured by even bringing it up. So there are going to be a lot of people who will say, "Oh, she's cheating," and actually, I don't think that's the norm here. Actually, what I think it is that essentially he isn't challenging her, and I spoke about this in the video the other day. If this is the case, essentially your wife doesn't feel that you're dangerous anymore. That's, I think, what it really boils down to, is that she feels you're not going to do something that she has to try and stop, because, and I know this is going to sound terrible. This is going to sound really terrible. For a lot of women, and I'm going to back this up in a minute with the other link that I've got ready for this, sex is a way of controlling their man. And so a lot of women realize that if they want their man to not do something stupid or whatever, or to make him do something, actually sex is a good way to get him to do that. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying I think this is a true aspect of reality that that really is. And unfortunately, we just have to live with that. And so in this case, when your wife starts losing interest in sex, it's because you are domesticated. You are sufficiently domesticated that she doesn't feel like you might do something ridiculous, frankly. So you need to just start, honestly, just start doing things that she doesn't really approve of. This is where the sort of midlife crisis comes into it, to be honest. I'm not saying you should have a midlife crisis, but you should be more dynamic. Not with her either, with things for yourself. Like, improve yourself, go to the gym. Like, say, no, look, right, Saturday nights I'm going to have nights with the boys. So make plans, because I'm going out with my friends. So you're looking after the kids, make plans, get a nice movie on the TV, get a couple of your female friends over, whatever you want, but I'm going out with the boys, and that's a hard line, and that's it. And so when you start drawing these hard lines, she realizes that actually you're not just so completely domesticated, and you are going to do things, and there is an obligation on her. She will have to actually consider you as an agent in life, rather than as just someone who exists with her conveniently. And I really, this is something that a lot of men my age, actually, and certainly need to think about, because it really can end up becoming too easy to fall into the rhythms of married life. And you need to kind of carve off a section of it where you say, no, this is for me and not for you, and you don't have a choice in that. And that's something that she will respect, frankly. Anyway, so he carries on. He's not getting sex. He says, so about a year ago, I just stopped doing the little things I used to do for her, making coffee in the mornings, leaving notes, fixing things right away, giving her massages, planning surprises. I still pull my weight with the chores and the kids, but the extras felt pointless when I'm basically being treated like a platonic roommate. Now she's upset that I've changed and I'm not as loving anymore. I told her straight up that love feels different when it's one-sided. And boy, is he correct to do this. He should have done this probably earlier, but good for him. And it's again showing that essentially the relationship has become, from her perspective, kind of exploitative. She was like, great, I get all of the nice things I want, and I don't really feel like having sex with him, so I don't have to do the things that he wants to make sure the relationship remains healthy, so he feels that he's appreciated, and he's still going to do the things that makes me feel like I'm appreciated, and now he's not making me feel appreciated, and now the problem is with him. Well, of course she's wrong. The problem is with her. She has to start giving him what he wants out of the relationship. Because, again, all relationships are reciprocal. And if you don't reciprocate to the person in the relationship, and this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship either, anything, if you've got a friend who you always invite out or whatever, and he just never comes or whatever, you'll start thinking you're really your friend, because he never actually comes out. Even then when he invites you out, you go. Right? All relationships are reciprocal. So you've always got this problem that if one person stops actually doing the thing for the other person that the other person expects, well, then the relationship starts breaking down. And that's what we're witnessing here. The relationship itself is breaking down. And she's like, well, hang on a second. I was getting everything I wanted. Why have you stopped doing that? It's like, because you were being selfish. That's what this comes down to. You actually do have obligations as a wife to your husband, in the same way that I, as a husband, have obligations to my wife. Like, so, sorry, we've all got to live up to our obligations. And if you're not in the mood or you're too tired, don't get me wrong, it is, in a way, his fault. He needs to basically kind of sack up and just start laying down the law, frankly, and just telling you, no, that's not how it's going to be. And I've made that decision. And don't push me on it, because, who knows what will happen if you push me on it. I might blow everything up, right? I might just be like, right, the relationship's over. We're getting a divorce or something like that. There needs to be a kind of fear in the back of her mind that you will actually enforce that red line. And so she'll be like, okay, yeah, fair enough. I need to find a different way of persuading you. And man, are women not happy about this, right? Are women not happy about this? Taylor says, so he's admitting he never did these things out of love in the first place and was only doing it to manipulate sex out of her. Charming. Yeah, that's right, Taylor. That's definitely the same normal, sensible way of looking at things. You're definitely not an insane person, right? You're definitely not mad. He obviously loves her, which is why he did all of these things. But if she doesn't reciprocate his love, then he feels alienated. It's, again, you are asking, why isn't he just constantly venerating her? Because if he loves her, that should be one-sided if she so desires it. So that's not how a relationship works. My wife has lost interest in sex, so I'm going to make myself as unappealing to her as possible. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that's a great start, actually. That's a great start. Like, withdrawing that kind of openness that you were showing to her, well, she noticed, didn't she? So that's actually a good start. Consequences for a woman's choices, not a my one. Well, yeah. And you get other people, hot take, it's actually being a part of being in marriage to have sex every once in a while. We as humans aren't asexual androgynous beings. Well, this is the thing, right? And Amy here, well, maybe she's got postpartum depression, or maybe she actually is tired. Yeah, but it's not that. It's not that. What it is he doesn't excite her because he's allowed himself to be domesticated. He needs to undomesticate himself, pretty sharpish, by just enforcing some boundaries and just making her feel, oh, right, I can't do that. Or he's going to do that, and I'm going to have to just accept that he's going to do this thing. That's fine. That makes him feel like a man to her, because at the moment he feels like a pet. So, it's not something you actually need to do all that much, but you do have to enforce your boundaries. And so the complaint, oh, well, this is just, he's just being transactional. It's like, kind of, but like we've covered, all relationships are reciprocal. And so knowing that, you as a woman can be like, okay, right. Well, of course I love my husband. I want to reciprocate what my husband gives to me in the way that he wants to receive it. So I want to receive whatever this woman says, I want him to fix things. I want him to make me coffee. I want him to show that he loves me. Show that he's thinking about me while I'm away. Do all these little romantic extras, blah, blah, blah. But in return for that, I know that he wants sex. So I know I'm going to have to give him sex, obviously. Otherwise, we're going to have a terrible relationship or breakdown, and I'll lose my husband. So there's no reason that you can't be smart about this. And that's what this one's about, right? And this is just so good because I totally endorse it. And again, Rosie would say, well, this is just transactional. And it's like, kind of, yeah. But that doesn't mean she doesn't love her husband. That doesn't mean she doesn't enjoy what she does with her husband. It's just she knows she has an obligation to fulfill a certain area of the relationship. And it's like, okay, well, why not make that work for you? And that's totally reasonable. Make things work for you as well as working for your partner, and everyone's a winner. I swear to God, this guy, lucky guy, he's got a wife who totally gets it, right? She says, I've manipulated my husband by strategically sleeping with him for more than 20 years. Now, coming back to what I was saying about women can control men with sex, again, whether you like it or not, that's kind of what happens in a relationship, a long-term relationship, right? Women can control their men with sex. And if they feel that the men aren't out of their control, don't need controlling, as in, if you are this domestic man who doesn't understand why he's a domestic man, well then why would she feel that she would need to? right? She's got this power over you, but she doesn't feel like she needs to use it. Well, okay, well, make her feel like she needs to use it. And then she'll understand that actually, no, it is a useful thing to have. We'll read this. I've manipulated my husband strategically, sleeping with him for more than 20 years. I've been married going on 30 years. Many, many years ago, I realised that on the weekends, if I got up in the morning and did whatever I needed to do, make breakfast, take care of the kids, clean, etc., my husband would just stay in bed all day and watch TV. If I wanted to take the kids somewhere or suggested we go shopping or hiking or hang out with friends or literally anything, my husband would say he's worked hard all week and he wants to just relax. And so we'd do nothing all weekend long. But, and this is where it gets just big brain, I love this. If I started the morning by sleeping with him, shortly after we were done, he'd get up and take a shower and be ready to go conquer the world. So if I want to have a lazy day at home, I get up and do whatever I want, but if I want to go do something, I sleep with him first thing in the morning. I know I'm intentionally manipulating him, but I actually don't care because I feel like he's getting what he wants, and so am I. And honestly, she's right. And I mean, she's been married for 30 years, so it's obviously working. I know it sounds like, but it's honestly, this woman hasn't worked out, right? This is completely worked out, and she totally understands, right? No, notice all of the things that I've been saying are present in this, right? She gets up, she goes and does what she wants to do in the morning, you know, what she finds to be most important in the morning, and then she's like, right, I want to take the kids somewhere. And the husband's like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I've worked hard all week. Why should I go anywhere? I want to relax. The husband has a red line, and she's like, right, okay, well, I can't make him do it. I can't get him to do it. But actually I can, because after we've had sex, he likes to go and have a shower. So actually, big brain play, I can make him go and do it. If I give him what he wants as a man, not only do I satisfy a very important aspect of the relationship, but also I get him to do what he wants, do what I want. And so everyone, like she says, comes away a winner, which is completely true. It is completely true that everyone comes away a winner. And I'm sure her husband's very happy. And she seems pretty happy because she seems to have it all down. And so, again, you can say, well, this is transactional. It's like kind of, or even worse, you can say it's manipulative. I don't think it is manipulative. I think that's taking it too far. I was thinking, am I being manipulated? I think I might be. But again, I don't think it's manipulative. I think it is just a woman being forthright about the realities of having a long-term marriage and going, okay, what do I need to do to get what I want and make sure that he gets what he wants? So everyone's a winner here. And she's cracked it. She's cracked the code. She's like, right, yeah, no, we can get everything we want here. And we can go out and then have a wonderful day. I get everything, he gets everything, everyone's a winner, and this woman, and ladies, you should definitely take advice from this, definitely take this into consideration. This woman is winning at life. This woman's about to get a divorce. So, who's really doing well here? And then people like Rosie, who are just like, well, this isn't the perfect fairy tale Twilight romance that I was promised when I was reading young adult books when I was a teenager. Yeah, no, well, deal with it, right? This is reality. And the reality is one of these is about to get a divorce and the other of these is going to die with lots of grandchildren and a very long and happy marriage in which her and her husband thought the world of each other. So make your choice.